morning, and a Merry Christmas to you guys. It's just before 6, Christmas morning. I am carrying out a tradition that I have set for myself some years ago. Get out before the dawn and go for a ride. Sometimes it's on a bicycle, sometimes it's on a Spyder. But good day for it. It's about 45 degrees outside this morning, but with the gear I've got on, I'm toasty. Got the new battery-powered jacket, heating up the torso. The hand grips are heated up, so I feel the warmth coming through the gloves. Feels good. A lot more traffic this morning than I thought there would be. We're going to see if we can head down the Back Bay this morning, maybe catch the sun coming up. Everybody's asleep back at the house, still tucked in the bed. You know, that visions of sugar plum things going on in their head. It rhymes. It's gorgeous out here. I'm still waking up. I got my coffee going though, so I've already had a couple sips. I just hope opening the garage door didn't wake Miriam up. It's a little noisy. I asked her if she wanted to join me this morning, and she looked at me and she goes, "No, thank you. I'll stay in bed." We've got Katie and Mark are home for Christmas. It's very satisfying, very satisfying. You know, the last couple of nights I've had a couple of unique dreams, and no, they did not involve 3 ghosts. Funny, I don't dream that often about the Spyder, but the last couple of nights I had Spyder dreams. Kind of cool. 2 nights ago I dreamed that I was selling the Spyder in exchange for got to buy a motorhome with the money, and I was so depressed, and it was just like it was so hard to do. That is not in our long-range strategy. Yeah, we want to pick up a motorhome, and when Miriam retires, that's in our plan. But we want to take the Spyder with us. I've already priced out trailers, and that will. Motorhome, the RV would be our base of operations wherever we go, and Spyder would be our mode of transportation out doing excursions and sightseeing. That way we can stay out much longer. Or we're thinking right now that we'd stay out 6 months out of the year and be home 6 months out of the year. You know, divide that up with probably 3 and 3, something like that. But that's still a few years out. Miriam's got a few years out before she retires. It's the nature of having a job with the city that is not in the first responder category, since she works HR, so she has a standard retirement. Those of us who are in the first responder career fields, we have a different retirement, just because the stress of the job takes its toll, and we get to retire earlier. $6:20. So, yeah, my Spyder clock is about 20 minutes off, even if I try to adjust it for standard time. And last night I dreamed, I think it was an asphalt odyssey dream. I dreamed that I was traveling on a long trip by myself, and I was on the way back home, and it was just very satisfying dream. Maybe it was the Ghost of Christmas Future. I don't know. Or the Ghost of Christmas Past. You know, this time of year, I'm given to think about. What have I accomplished this year? Did I make strides towards my my overall goals in my life, and what do I want to accomplish next year, 2020. I gotta say that 2019 was a pretty good year. Gosh, I got a chance to do that big trip that we called the Asphalt Odyssey. 28 days on the road, traveling across out to Colorado and New Mexico from our home here in Virginia Beach. That still is in my psyche, which is obvious from that dream I had last night. Got to do a few smaller trips, and I've got a whole list of trips for 2020. None of them have been totally fleshed out yet. We do know that we want to make a trip to the Shenandoah National Park again, which is one of our annual pilgrimages in the hot summer time, probably July 4th, and stay up there. And we're thinking that we've gotten a lot of people that asked to, when are we ever going to do a meetup type thing? I'm thinking we'll probably do something like that in July. My worst fear is we schedule a meetup or a ride, and they finally got this new bridge open. Cool. I'll have to tell you about the bridge in a second. But yeah, my worst fear is we schedule a ride or a meetup and nobody shows up. But we'll do some planning on that as the year opens up. We're going out to the Sandbridge subdivision. And which is the also access point to Back Bay National Wildlife Refuge, which we go to often. We've shown it on the video. Oh, my eyes are watering, and I got my face covered down because it's chilly, so tears running down my eyes. I'm not sad, it's just that my eyes are watering. It's so early in the morning with the cool air. So anyway, back about talking about our goals and things we've accomplished, things we hope to accomplish. By my nature, I'm an obsessive compulsive planner, and I have been a student of the concept of planning and setting goals and achieving goals pretty much all my adult life. And I have found that it works. It really works. And I listen when I occasionally catch the media, social media or the news, and people talking about it's not fair that other people have what we don't have, and blah blah blah. And the media just seems to perpetuate the concept of wealth envy. They often show the results of years of effort that go into becoming successful, and they never show the actual work that goes into it. But anyway, to many of us, including my own dad, who always thought that somebody who was wealthy had to cheat because he worked hard, and he did, but he didn't have all the trappings of wealth, and that's because there's a process for success. It's not just hard work; it's working smart, and that's really the real key. And I've been trying to study that philosophy and that art all my life, and like I said, the crazy thing is it works. And it works so simply, and it's so effective. And there are gazillions of books out there on the subject. One of the first ones that came out was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I think that was written in the 30s or 40s, but it's based on psychology, pretty sound psychology. So the information is valid even today. He coined the simple phrase that he was an amateur researcher and was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie to find out why some people are ultra successful and why some people are not. And so he did the research, and this has been followed up on by university level research even more recently. And the common denominator for success, especially we always tend to measure economic success. That's an easier metric. The common denominator is grit. And you have a sound mind and a sound body, you don't have much really of an excuse. So I don't set New Year's Eve I don't set New Year's resolutions. I take the time to review my goals, and I make sure that they're integrated into my overall goal plan. I have a very long, detailed, written list of goals. Things I want to do today, things I'm going to do this week, things I'm going to do this month, things I'm going to do this year, and 5 years. Anything beyond 5 years is really, really hard to nail down, so I only go out 5 years. One of the viewers years some time ago commented about my dialogue about working towards getting the Spyder and how it took so long. And his comment was, why didn't you just go down and buy the Spyder? Why do you have to dwell on and on about it for years? Well, I'm not the kind of person that has an idea and goes out and throws money at it without giving it a lot of thought and a lot of research and make sure it integrates into my overall goal system. I am blessed and fortunate beyond words to be able to have the ability to set the goals that I've set, which allows me to have an incredible amount of freedom at this point in my life. That's Back Bay over there. And there we have the sun coming up, and there's the American flag. Well, it's still a half hour before sunrise. It's windy and cold. Nobody out here yet. Time for a little bit of coffee. Christmas morning, 2019. Surprised I don't see any deer out here. They have a ranger who lives on the property. This is a big park. National Wildlife Refuge goes all the way down to North Carolina, which is 8 miles south of here. You can hike down there. You can take a boat. You can ride your bicycle. You can't ride your bicycle all the way unless you get the tide just right and go out on the beach. I've done that. That's cool. And they have a giant chain link fence. I mean, when I say giant, it's like 8 foot tall and uses telephone poles as the pilings to hold it in place. And it looks like an entry into a third world border crossing. But it's not that we're trying to keep North Carolinians out. It's for the wild horses that live in the park to keep them out of North Carolina. There's also a tradition that says whatever that you do on January 1, you will get to do all year long. And I remember when I was actively flying, no matter what the weather, as long as you could get the airplane in the air. If you owned an airplane, you were out on New Year's Day flying that puppy. I know I did. I was an excessive, compulsive aviation addict. You know, I had a little hangar for my airplane. And it was my home away from home. You know, I stumbled across multiple YouTube channels of young people flying airplanes. flying their own airplanes and covering every aspect of aviation, how to acquire an airplane, how to maintain an airplane, traveling with airplanes. Basically the same thing I'm doing with the Spyder. It's just it's so satisfying to have the knowledge that the next generation has picked up the gauntlet for something that I was so passionate about. Still am. I just don't do it anymore. And the reason I don't go back into it, I'm 62 years old. Although I know I can pass the FAA flight physical, I'm pretty sure that I can. As you get older, there's always a chance that you could have a medical emergency and be incapacitated. And that'd be a bad thing, not just for the people who are on the ground under me, but for anybody in the airplane with me. So that's one of the reasons. And also, as I said, I was at the top of my game. I was a single guy. I would spend my days off at the airport, hanging around the airport mostly, which is probably why I was a single guy. But I really loved it. And anytime I wanted to go fly, I just climb in the airplane and go fly. The only hindrance was the price of gasoline. It had the Lycoming O320 engine, and I was averaging about 6 to 8 gallons an hour. And by the time I factored in fuel and oil cost, it was costing me about $25 an hour to operate. I think that's probably doubled, if not tripled by now, just because of cost of gas and cost of maintenance. You know, reflected, I guess getting up really, really early on Christmas morning goes way back when I was a child. I'd be so excited to see what's under the tree. My parents would, "Go back to bed, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, for God's sake." Yeah. Still get excited on Christmas. I'm going to pull in here for a second. I want to show you guys. This is the Sandbridge Marketplace across these from the, I call it the Borg Cube, big modern condo. Little beach market, been here forever. And Sandbridge Island Restaurant right next to it. Quaint little place. Looks like they made some, well, they've expanded, I think. Made some modifications. Right across from the beach. It's the only place like that we have in this area. What a great shot. Oh, I got to give a shout out to the Smyrna Cowboy out in Smyrna, Tennessee. We share the love of traveling. He drives a scooter. He's considering upgrading to a Spyder. Hasn't made that decision yet. Anyway, he recommended, or he commented in the channel comments about his favorite Christmas song is John Denver's Christmas Cowboys. Tall in the Saddle, A Sped Christmas Day. And reflecting that is actually one of my favorite songs also. I was a big John Denver fan back in the day. So to the Smyrna Cowboy, I actually had it cranked up this morning on the Spyder before I started rolling the video. So Merry Christmas to you. So what type of plans do we think we have in store for 2019? Well, it's all up in the air. Miriam's mom and dad are elderly. They're doing fine. We had dinner with them yesterday. But they're older. My dad is same age bracket. He's in his late 80s. Starting to have some issues. So, you know, it's you start to feel a little hesitation when you want to plan a big long trip. What if we have to come back in a hurry, type thing. So that's in our thoughts. So we got a couple of things we're thinking about. We kind of like to either go to the Hershey RV show, which is more than an RV show type trip. We're going to be hitting Gettysburg and the mountains of Pennsylvania and Virginia. And of course we're taking the Spyder. That's one of our options. We haven't decided yet. That's in September. We're also looking at the possibility of going to Glacier National Park. That's on our radar scope. We'd like to do that. That would not be a Spyder trip, just because of the time of the year we're going up there. They can get snow. We're looking at August, early September for that. So it's either one or the other. And we will make that decision here sometime in January. And along with a myriad of other trips, I know we're going to go to the Outer Banks, North Carolina. A Spyder trip going down to a little remote village of Ocracoke, if I'm pronouncing it properly. Last time I was there, some 20 years ago, it was a little fishing village, a little kind of touristy place now, but it's remote. If it wasn't for the modern cars, you would think you had gone back in time. Well, it's daylight. Daylight's a coming. And come back up and hit some barbecue restaurants we have put on the map. That trip would require multiple ferry crossings. We're shooting for that in the spring, early spring. Also, there is a West Virginia run I'd like to make. The motorcycle touring magazine Roadrunner did an article last month and a couple of months before that, and they titled it The High Five, and in the Coal Heritage Trail. And it's in West Virginia, so that would make a nice multi-day ride. Probably be a week for that, because by the time we end up in the southwestern part of West Virginia, might as well stop off and see some family. Oh, and I would still love to be able to go out and do the entire Blue Ridge Parkway. I have not done that since I was a young man fresh out of the military. And then yesterday we were in Williamsburg, and we were talking about doing the Colonial Parkway. There's a little parkway up there which makes a great little ride. Historical, scenic, and it'd be a two-dayer. We'd probably overnight in Yorktown. So we've been out on the ride this morning for about not quite an hour yet. But with my electrically heated vest, the heated hand grips, wearing my rain jacket, which acts as a vapor barrier, my Gore-Tex pants, which also acts as a wind and vapor barrier. I'm comfy. Not remotely chilled. Kind of cool. Well, guys, we're going to end this video. And I want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. You probably already had one by the time you see this. It's going to be 2 days after Christmas. And a Happy New Year. I'll get it back to the barn, get some breakfast, drink some more coffee, and get everybody up so we can open some presents. See what Santa Claus brought us. So, thanks for watching, guys. Y'all take care. We'll see you next year.